I'm Michelle Carney with IdeateTV here at the Dances of Films Festival, and I'm here with
Sergio Camacho.
and
Jonathan Adelson, executive producer and writer of United Crafts of America.
well, why don't you start off telling us a little bit about your project?
So we have a pilot called United Crafts of America, which is painting the portrait of America through the lens of craft beer and the breweries and brewers around the country that make craft beer unique, and their entrepreneurial stories and their stories about community and artisanship and perseverance.
Fun. How did this project come to life, or what inspired it?
So I was introduced to craft beer somewhere around 2018 by a cousin of mine, and I live in Manhattan, so we used to frequent a lot of craft beer bars and breweries over on a long course of the weekend. And when the pandemic happened, all of that stopped. I said, I have nowhere to go on Saturday. I have no place to kind of get that.
No more craft beer.
No, well, but even just more venturing and exploring and meeting new people and having those conversations. Yeah. But again, and then so I found this craft beer delivery service called Tavor that curates craft beer from around the country, and they deliver it to you in this big box. It's like Christmas. And again, we're still in lockdown at the time, and I opened this big box, and in it is all of these cans, and we were doing a little bit earlier happy hours back then, so I would sit on my porch and look at one can and how it says the Utah or Portland, Oregon, and every can is different. Every art is different, and on every can is a story. You're reading about my grandfather. These recipes come from Germany and these types of lagers, and I said in every can is a story. It could be an episode. This is an idea for a series. So I sat there during the pandemic on lockdown, started writing the idea, and a couple years later, I accidentally met Jonathan, and it was one of the last things I pitched him when we were talking about show ideas. He says, let's talk about that. And not long after that, we have our pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. During that meeting with Sergio, I was like, why do you want to make this? Why now? And he was essentially said, it's a really divided time right now. Like, no matter what side you're sitting on, you can come together over a glass of beer. Like, that is the one thing that we can all unite around. And that really stuck with me. And especially when, I went back and researched and realized, like, there's been no show that has really captured the world of craft beer like this. And it's a really connected and fascinating world of entrepreneurs and scientists, and they're so multifaceted. After that meeting, I reached out to Sergio and I was like, let's do this. And within 2 months, we had picked our brewery and we had started shooting.
Amazing. And tell me a little bit more about your partnership, how you two met, decided to work together. And
I messaged Sergio blindly. I had seen the work that he had done, and I messaged him. We met at a bar just to meet, and he started telling me about some projects he was interested in, and we hit it off pretty quickly. And Sergio's an incredibly talented director and has an amazing creative eye. And I come from more of like a business creative background, and it really has blended into an incredible partnership. It's been really lucky.
Yeah, for myself, I think with Jonathan, like anytime you're starting someone new, again, I've been doing this for a long time, but when there's always a leap of faith. And Jonathan, I think for me, where I feel so grateful, he enjoys and does great all the things that I don't care to do as much, and it really fills two halves of a whole, and it's again, it's a leap of faith, but you develop a working relationship, and where we can trust, and we did that through the pilot, and even the people that we bring from our backgrounds to this pilot and help bring that to fruition. I think we're seeing that on screen, so I think it's been nothing but great things and fun, but it's also our perseverance. We don't give up on anything, much like the breweries and the brewers we're talking about, but it's been this is still part of our journey, and we're enjoying it every day.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me a little bit more about the pilot. How many breweries did you visit? How did you decide where to go first?
Well, we talked with almost every major microbrewer in New York City.
Wow.
And we went one at a time. We have good long careers and backgrounds in television, so we know it's a lot about characters. And when somebody has it, they have it. Now, somebody may have a great product in a can, but it doesn't always translate through the screen.
It's about storytelling.
That's correct.
Well.
That's correct. And so we met with everybody, and not everybody had the same reception. Because again, this is new. One thing about this show, there is not another show like ours. This hasn't been done before. I did so much research before, and I think that's what is novel, even for the craft beer people. They're unfamiliar with, you want to do what? It just doesn't happen. Not like there's plenty of barbecue shows and a lot of cooking shows, but not for beer. And so, but when we met some great breweries and owners and brewmasters, but the last one we met, there was one right before we met with like, oh, I think this is great. They have this great story. And then the last we met, Jesse and Laura at Interborough Brewery in Brooklyn, we walked out looking at each other. That's it. They're it. They have the great story. And will they let us in? And they did. Again, another back to leap of faith. And they did. And even watching them, after the first screening, it was very, I owe it to them, but also there's a great trust in telling their story wholeheartedly. And but they had such a unique story related to New York City's history. But craft beer is about America and the history of America. And it's all wrapped up. But in the end, it comes down to community. And they built a beautiful community, and they are wrapped with their community, but that's what craft beer is about. So again, with them, we just couldn't help ourselves, and it was really an allegory for New York itself.
Mm-hmm. And so for the larger project, what's your vision for it? Will each episode be in a different state, a different city, or what will that look like?
That's correct. So our second episode is San Diego. Our third episode is Portland, Oregon. Our fourth would be in Montana. Our fifth is in Boston, and our sixth in Nashville, North Carolina. I was just in San Diego this week doing development, doing the writing, developing it, and it's an amazing place. Everybody should see this. It's funny that some people don't even know that San Diego is the premier craft beer city in the world, in the United States. And it is. And they take it for granted because it's such a part of them. And I'm learning that and listening and talking to them one at a time. And I can't wait to make that episode. I'm literally in that. I went to Portland, same thing. It blew my mind how amazing of again, all the critics and all the journalists told us, you have to go to here, you have to go there. And as I visit them, I lived in Boston, so I know that one. So that's our lineup, and getting to work one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. And what's the writing process been like, knowing that you're going to go and meet new people and kind of bring them into it?
I'll let Jonathan talk about the writing.
Our goal has been to feature one brewery for every city, and really, paint the portrait of how that brewery came to be and the people involved and their backstories, because it's really, they're entrepreneurs. Like, they are small business owners, and they have incredible backstories. So it's finding a way to really weave the narrative of the people, the brewery, and the city all together. So finding that heart has really been essential for us, and we got lucky that we felt like we found that in the first episode.
Mm-hmm. Have there been any unexpected challenges that you've faced?
Well, to start, this was 2 years ago, our first day of shooting. Jesse, one of the co-founders of Interborough, came down with COVID. So that definitely threw a wrench in our initial production schedule. We worked around it. Jesse stayed home, and we were able to get him later on in the production process. But with anything, there's hurdles that you have to jump over. But overall, as far as what we wanted to capture, we felt really good that we were able to get everything that we wanted out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually very fortunate, because we've been doing this for quite a while, but things went okay. But we got what we needed, and it happened. And even after just going through all the footage, that's where the story came together. When we were very fortunate during production.
Mm-hmm. And you say you've been doing this for a while. How has this project been different from others, and what have you learned from it?
Well, I worked my background in network television as a creative director and a producer, but now owning the projects and owning my films is a much different thing, but not too different from in a creative direction. It's about getting all the pieces together and assembling the correct team. Because while I may not know much about music composition, I know what it needs to be. Mm-hmm. And then same thing working with the director of photography. When I met Joel from through this project, our great DP, and I just knew when I met Joel had it. I could always tell. And again, to me, it was a similar team. Jonathan's a part of that as well. And again, there is a leap of faith anytime you're doing something new with people. But I knew we needed the essential people who are just so passionate about cinema and film, and that I knew would come across on the screen. So, and as a filmmaker, when it's your projects and you're putting it all together, you own that process. And that for me is new. And it's we've been hearing this people saying, the more you do it, the better you get. And it's true, because I finished this pilot, you start another project, but they keep going, because you're just going to sharpen your pencils at every step of a new project.
And is this the premiere here?
This is our West Coast premiere.
West Coast premiere. How's the response been so far?
It's been very good. I think what's funny about the response is it could be from someone who's just a lay person who is another filmmaker or who doesn't know anything about beer. They walk right up to you with this, "Oh my God, I didn't know this exists." Because not every, while there's a big craft beer community, not everybody is aware of it. I think people's response to not just craft beer, but the people that make it, the artisanship, and again, and the passion. Everybody has a why when it comes to craft beer. It might be the owner, it might be the brewmaster, it might be the bartender. They have a reason that they won't work there, or they won't be away from this industry. And I think that comes across, people that would come to me after the screening. One of them was in tears. I just never knew that people could care so much about something.
Yeah.
But again, that's credit to Laura and Jesse, our brewery, because they let us into their lives, and that's a big leap of faith on our part for them to, share that vulnerability and share their story.
David.
Two things we've heard a lot: I'm inspired and I'm thirsty. So that's been a feedback we've consistently been getting, which is great. That means we accomplished our goal. But it's great getting to show it in front of a new city, a new audience, and every city has a different relationship with craft beer. So it's great getting different points of feedback from different audiences, as far as like, "Oh, I didn't know this," or "Oh, that was a great way that this was shown." And it's great getting different perspectives.
Did you show it in New York first?
As Dances with Films, in Dances with Films New York, yeah.
It must have been fun to show it to that community.
And they showed up too. Jesse, Laura, the two co-owners, and their entire staff, they were there. So that was really special. And that was the first time we had shown it to them. So
oh, wow.
I don't know about Sergio. I was nervous going in, because they really opened up to us about very personal stuff in their lives, because they were telling their entire life story, and that's a big responsibility that we took very seriously the whole time. So I remember after the screening, I came up to them, I was like, "So what do you think?" But they were thrilled with how it was. So yeah, it was great being in front of them and other people in the New York craft beer community.
Yeah, it was funny when, because we shared the screener with them ahead of time, but they wanted to wait, I think. They didn't, they didn't tell us they hadn't seen it. And then, Jesse the brewer, who I consider kind of like our big cowboy type hero. I was raised on those kind of characters, and my dad was a big spaghetti Western guy and, John Wayne guy. And so I told him, I took it from that angle. I wanted to see you right off in the sunset, and people we have that attachment to that. But again, even just he was very gracious, but even very happy. I'm glad to hear that he said he was happy with the way that we portrayed and told their story. And it felt good, because again, that's a big leap of faith.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, for people who want to see it, support you, get involved, where can they go? How can they find you?
www.unitedcraftsofamerica.com. You can find us there. We're also on Instagram at United Crafts of America. One of the big parts of the show is, while it is a brand, the thing I like to say with regard to the brewers, we are the champion of the small brewer. We are the champion of the small business owner. We're not interested in Goliath. We want to talk to the Davids and be a part of them and help any way that we can and amplify their message and amplify community relationship. So please find us there. If you have an idea, we are looking for anybody who can contribute. We talk to journalists and authors and brewers, but also the patrons seem to care too. So please find us. We'd love to hear your story.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. It was great chatting with you. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Michelle Carney with IdeateTV.